Hi, I'm Katie McCammon. I work full-time with 350 Sacramento, a Sacramento, California-based climate justice organization. We are focused on climate justice because we believe that the most vulnerable communities, people of color, indigenous communities, unhoused populations, those are the people being affected now, and they're being affected at the worst level by climate change. We have a large unhoused community in Sacramento, and we see the effects from major storms, major drought, major heat waves affect them the most, and we can't ignore that. So as a climate justice organization, we look at community and how they're affected, and we're honest about that. So we need to look at solutions. We focus on things like infill, more local housing in the more central area of Sacramento, and we need people to have housing near transit, active transit, buses, bike lanes. Getting around needs to be more accessible, and living needs to be more accessible. It shouldn't be just the richest people that live in central locations, because that's not going to solve the problem. We need to take care of our communities, protect our communities from the effects of climate change we know are coming our way. In California, we see drought, wildfires, flooding. In Sacramento specifically, we have two large riverways that flow through our city, and we see flooding happen from those riverways changing and moving, and how they change with the storms, and the storms have increased and worsened over the years because of climate change. It's highly recognizable what's happening in a place like Sacramento because of the high heat in the summer, and then the wind and torrential rain in the winter. We see all the range of what's happening with climate change. We need solutions that are nature-based and technological. Nature-based solutions such as more protection of the wetlands. Sacramento used to have many more wetlands, and industry took over more of that natural space. We need that nature back. There are conservation groups working on creating more parkways, and those parkways really protect us from the worst effects of flooding when flooding happens. We also need technological solutions. We need more solar and wind power, but solar is probably the biggest because we have such high heat. We have so much sun here. That is a big part of how we're going to solve the problem on the technological side. Our local energy municipality, SMUD, is focused, and we push them to focus on electrifying the infrastructure by 2030. We are dedicated to that timeline, and that's a big push for us, and we are watching SMUD, what they do. We're watching the county and the city and what they do, and we are making sure that we're on track to electrify. That's a huge project for us right now. We are also looking at climate action plans in the city and county, and those are focused on transitioning away from fossil fuel infrastructure in many different ways to lower greenhouse gas emissions. As I said, we have to focus on central living. That's a major focus. There's a lot of sprawl in this area, and people live very far out, and without active transportation or bike lanes, people have to drive their cars to get from point A to point B, and we can't do that anymore. We cannot be a car-centric area. So we need to change a lot, and we have very little time to change it, so we need to use our energy and our coalition building power. We need to come together with other organizations because none of us are separate. We cannot be separate organizations anymore. So we're coming together, we're working together, and we're going to make a difference together. We work with people from the Bay Area, from LA, from all major cities across California, and from people from neighboring states. We all come together, we make actions happen at the state capitol. We organize people to go to New York. We've organized people to go to Washington, D.C. We work on policy, legislation. We are pushing. We are making our voices heard as community members because we cannot allow leaders, world leaders, local leaders, any of the leadership that we're seeing do what they're doing and continue to do it. We cannot allow fossil fuels to influence our governments, and we need to change that. So that's what we're working on changing, and we have many solutions to focus on changing that.